I want to shift the idea of perfect to the idea of authentic. We want everything to be perfect today. We want everything to be authentic today. There's a very big difference between the ideal of perfect and perfectly authentic. Authentic is aligned with you. The ideal of perfect is an illusion that does not exist. So if you are doing your best, that's perfect. And your best is always good enough. And there's always an opportunity to better your best, which is great because we're always growing. We continue to grow and strive and evolve into even better versions of our best self. But it starts with replacing the word perfection with authentic. We want to be the perfect version of ourselves in this moment, showing up and doing our best. And that means being impeccable with our word, not making assumptions.
Don't take anything personal. The hardest one.
Hey, Amaryllis, it's just me and you today, huh?
It is.
It is.
Welcome everyone to Authentic Conversations. So today we wrap up a book that is dear to us, and we've been going between as we have amazing guests coming to our show, which has been such a blessing. Oh my God, Susan, every time I think about when people say yes to us, I have to pinch myself, to be honest.
Yeah. When people say yes to us, it's like the universe is saying yes to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because of course, just like we're talking about these 4 agreements, the assumptions that we make, the fact that
Taking things personal. Oh,
yes. And you think that you're asking someone for the world when they, you have your own feelings of what it is that we're doing on this platform. But we have to remember, and just like what this agreement is, so the 4th agreement, and I'm gonna go back to it just to make sure.
Well, let's recap. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, right?
Okay,
so
let's go for it.
Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally.
Yeah.
Make no assumptions, and always do
your best.
Always do your best. And it's your best in the moment. Like, I think we get hung up. We have this ideal of what the best is, right? We're not saying always do the best. We're saying do your best. So every given day, like sometimes just getting out of bed is your best. Some days, you feel like you're going to take on the world and you do, right? But, sometimes your best is, kind of just keeping things even, kind of riding that neutral, or, just taking care of yourself, in whatever way. So it's your best, not the best. There's a different connotation.
It is, because, he says, when you put all of these agreements together, right, being authentic with yourself, it's being your best. So if you speak with love and you explain yourself to others, what hurts you, when you made an assumption and you realize and you go back to that situation and go, I think I made up a little bit of a story here. Let me take ownership of that and then be authentic with myself and do the best that I can to explain to the other person in our world, because we don't live alone. We are in a world together and we are all one love, what it was that triggered me. Because we always want to make sure that we're thinking it's the other person that's triggering us and that they're making us upset. And that's what Don Miguel Ruiz is always talking about. It's just the simplicity of, if you follow these 4 agreements, now we're going to wrap it all up. Do your best with love.
Yeah, do your best and be authentic. If something triggered you, that's human and it's okay, and if you have to apologize to someone for your response or reaction to something that you misinterpreted or took out of context, then that is doing your best. That is doing your best. So your best is not this place that, everything is supposed to always be right and always be good and always be. Your best is showing up in your most authentic version every day and taking responsibility for what you're creating, right? We know that, you can label things good or bad, but take responsibility for what you're creating and create more of what it is that you want, right? That feels good to you, that you're aligned with. And, that's doing your best. And your best varies from day to day.
Yep. And your best, sometimes, we want to overthink everything and we want to please everybody, right? And you have to reel it back in and go, is this about me or others? If I want to make others happy, how am I being authentic with myself? How am I telling my truth? How am I holding on to the assumptions that I think I should be doing this? You're celebrating somebody, you want to make somebody feel special, you want to be in the world. And we think that sometimes, we make these stories again of how it should be. When meanwhile, the other person is just okay with you being right there next to them.
That's right.
Holding space for somebody. You don't have to, we always think that we have to solve the problem.
Supposed to, have to, must.
Instead of just being there for them, right? Like what a beautiful gift that you can just hold it. You have a quote that I was working on, and it's about when you're lifting someone, holding the space for them to be authentic with themselves.
Yes. It's not our job to lift people up. It's our job to stand next to them while they lift themselves up. I mean, that's the idea. I'm here. I got you. I'm supporting you. I'm not doing it for you. I'm not stealing your power. I'm not taking credit for your getting up.
Yeah. And
I'm cheering you on while you're getting up. We're going to get knocked down. We're going to fall down. We're going to, this is life. This is life.
Yeah. And that's what Don Miguel Ruiz brings back. It's these beautiful 4 agreements. If you can just remind yourself to center yourself when you're feeling a little bit all over the place. I just had a little bit of a moment of that. It's a big weekend in the household, want to do my best to be, counting scores of how great the other last year was and how am I going to make this one better. And I constantly have to keep reminding myself, am I making this about me or the person that I'm trying to celebrate? Am I really listening to what they want and what do I think I did it last year that made it great, or the year before, and how many people were around them? How am I creating this story, and where can I play my part by supporting and making sure that this person is feeling special?
And recognizing the growth, because this time last year is not this time this year, so we have to acknowledge that, sometimes people have grown differently or want different things. You can't assume, make no assumptions that what's going to make someone else happy any more than you can assume that you're the one that made them angry or frustrated, right? It's like we're responsible as individuals for our own emotions, and we can attach happiness and joyful celebration to any moment that feels like that for us. It doesn't have to be a replica of something you saw on TV or something that happened in the past. It can be right now. It can be right now.
Yep. And being in the moment is the hardest, Suzanne. It's so hard because you want to be in the moment and then you want to plan, and then you have to invite others to be part of your plan, right? You can't just like wake up and be like, hey, I'm going to make some phone calls. This is how we're going to do this today. But sometimes being honest and saying, because, like for me, I'm a parent. I have to be the guardian of what's going to happen at the end of the day. I have to still lead. But how do I lead without overtaking the celebration becoming about me? How can I lead with love and make sure that this person feels that support from the family?
Yeah. And I think it's about basic needs. It's about providing an environment that feels safe to be joyful and have fun. So, if you're inviting the people and, and you're stepping back and holding the space and allowing the joy and the fun to unfold, it's so much better than thinking that you're in charge of whether everyone has a good time. Because they're in charge of whether they have a good time. And if someone doesn't have a good time, it's not a reflection on the experience for you. It's a reflection on the space that they're in.
Oh.
Newsflash. You're not responsible for how other people feel, no matter what you do. No matter what you do, nor can you assume you know what's going to make them feel good, nor should you take it personally when it doesn't go well. And the only thing that you are responsible for is your intention and the words you use to express it. So we are here to celebrate. That's all you have to do, is create a safe environment for the participants to celebrate.
And however they want to celebrate, right? Because
That's
the
right.
participant might want to
That's
say,
right.
I don't want to do nothing.
It might be
And-
WWE wrestling on the floor.
Yes.
Like, it's not up to you.
Right, because you create your own stories and say, no, it should be this way. We are celebrating by this big cake or this big party or this big event, because this is how we're showing you that we love you.
It
And this
should feel
person is
safe enough for joy to hold space for joy to be able to be expressed.
Yes, guys, we know that it sounds like, for me, I'm always like, this sounds so simple. Why is this so simple?
What are you throwing, a 9-year-old birthday party today? 10,
Yes. 9.
Yeah.
9.
Yeah. Why does that
9.
feel so stressful, Amarellis? Let's really talk about it, because you want them all to have a good time. Then butt out and let them have a good time. Create the safe environment and allow the joy to flow freely.
Yep.
Same thing if you're coaching a team, right? You create a safe environment and then you allow the joy and the love of the game to flow freely. It's like, it's the container, not the individual experiences, right? It's not the individualness of it, it's the collectiveness of it. If you've created a safe space for people to feel all kinds of things, right? Because you can't feel joy unless you feel safe to feel sadness. And but like, you've created the container and you're providing the tools. Whether the partakers choose to find joy in that or not is not in your control. So in order for you to stay present and enjoy it, you have to release the idea that you have to pay attention with a hawk eye to every person's expression in every moment, to cater to their every need, to make sure that they are having a joyful experience. You're not in charge of that. You're the container. Yeah.
Ooh,
and the more joyful you are and the less micromanaging you are, that joy is contagious. Your smile is contagious. Your energy is contagious. So just trust it.
Trust that you're in the right place at the right time. And again, when you are being authentic with your love and your presence of being there for that person, they will feel that.
Yeah.
They will feel that.
But you don't have to try too hard.
No, you don't. And, we have to hold space for ourselves, right? Because we are human beings and we want to feel like, you're starting to start stressing about the party, or you're stressing about how well am I making this person feel? And, are they feeling loved and all of that? And grounding yourself, we'll talk about meditation, the breath work, alignment, and saying, what part of this is my dealing and what part of this is theirs? How much can I control? How am I being present right now? And, and talking to our inner child, we just had a beautiful section that's going to come up with Natasha, who has this beautiful book about inner child work. And, through the process, Susan, I realized birthdays are such a big thing for me. And I know that's my thing, and that my inner child wants to be celebrated. And in my celebration, I can get my idea of the story of what I think it should be intertwined with the fact that I'm dealing with somebody else's energy, not mine. They want to do it this way and they're happy. And as long as I'm present, and being present means that I can't be thinking about all the should have, could have, did I do it this way? Should have I done it that way? Did I not plan enough? Did I invite enough people? Is everybody included? When you're there, then you're not being present, guys.
That's right. That's right. You're either there, enjoying the energy field, feeling it, creating part of the container of love, or you're somewhere else. And if you're somewhere else, then your energy is not present. And if your energy is not present, then you're not contributing to it anyway. And don't think that people can't feel that. Energy is felt, not seen. So if you're distracted or anxious or frustrated or on edge, you're stealing joy because you're not contributing to the joyful energy.
Absolutely. Because everyone starts asking, like, are you okay? Is there anything I can help? Is there anything I can help? And no,
All the planning's already been done anyway. All you have to do is show up, right?
Yeah.
So did you do your best in the planning?
Yeah.
And was it your intention to plan and create something that will create joy?
Yes.
Then you've done your best. How it unfolds will be fabulous.
Yes. So Don Miguel Ruiz gives us all these beautiful tools, guys, that he makes them so simple. Again, I bring that back, that simplicity, because we overthink things and we think that things have to be so hard. You know, the no judgment zone, that do I really care whether people think that my show is great or people think I look great? He brings it back to the fact that whether somebody gives him a compliment or not, it doesn't do anything to change his aura of how he feels about himself.
That's right. And here's what I want to do. I want to shift the idea of perfect to the idea of authentic. Right? So we want everything to be perfect today. We want everything to be authentic today. There's a very big difference between the ideal of perfect and perfectly authentic. Right? Authentic is aligned with you. The ideal of perfect is an illusion that does not exist. So if you are doing your best, right, that's perfect. And your best is always good enough. And there's always an opportunity to better your best, which is great because we're always growing. So we don't cap off at the best, right? We continue to grow and strive and evolve into even better versions of our best self. But it starts with eliminating or replacing the word perfection with authentic. We want to be the perfect version of ourselves in this moment, showing up and doing our best. And that means being impeccable with our word, not making assumptions.
Don't take anything personal. The hardest one. Of course, that one's not coming up because
But that's right. But those are all, that's all falls under doing your best, right? It all aligns in the authenticity of the fact that I just couldn't even remember the fourth one. Must be the one I'm avoiding. But right, if you're taking it personal, then you're infusing someone else's energy, thoughts, or ideas into your own, and that steals your authenticity. So they do all lead to this final, this final chapter, this final piece of your best is good, and it's good enough, and it will continue to grow and get better, but it's a process and it's an unfolding.
And the best, guys, even when we're in a comfortable situation, when we are in doing something we don't want to do, right? Like a job that we don't like, or school that we have to finish because we already made this commitment. Doing your best. When you're starting to feel bogged down, ground yourself. Figure out, how can I have fun with this while I'm in this moment? How can I go to work and be my best? Because when you open that energy to love and you're being your best, even when you don't want to be there, good energy comes through, because now you start focusing on, where do I want to be? And then a conversation with somebody at work becomes a client. You find out something that they do that all of a sudden is like, wait, is the universe talking to me? Because that person just said what I was thinking. And then you make a connection with that person, or that person reconfirms your belief of what you want to do, that leap that you want to take, so that new journey, so that you can always feel great and happy and be your best at what you're doing. So being our best when we are in our comfortable zone, uncomfortableness is reminding us that we're not aligned.
That's right. That's right. And, we should approach the things that challenge us with curiosity about what you might learn, not a dread or, a feeling of inadequacy. Because how do you learn new things if you're not curious? So,
Curiosity and not letting others get into your thoughts, right? So stay in your
mhm,
lane. Don't make
mhm,
assumptions of what other people might be saying. Oh, she's crazy. She's going to jump ship to a new career, or what are you doing? Sometimes keep it to yourself.
mhm.
Keep those dreams between you and your higher self and what you believe in, and pray on giving thanks that it already happened. So there's a new, that's a new thought, right? We always pray for things like asking for, please change this, or please. How about we pray that it already happened?
Yeah.
Put in your mind and your thought that this alignment of what you want so that you can be your best all the time. Not always going to be happy, but we're going to do our best in everything that we're doing. Let's pray that it already happened so that you can start clarity and bring energy, which we talk about the law of the universe, right, guys?
Yeah.
Alignment of what is it that we're putting out there. I am is a very powerful word. And we are always saying, I am tired, or I am hating this job. How can we change that? Because Don Miguel Ruiz talks about our authentic words, right? Like what comes out of our mouth.
Yep, that's it. Don Miguel Ruiz in a nutshell. And I mean, really, read the book if you haven't, and keep it. It's a library keeper. You read it over and over and over again, and you get something better and deeper out of it every time you read it.
Yes. So thank you for spending this time with us, looking over this book and these 4 agreements and researching it. We are going to have other books that we recommend that have done something to us. These are the things that we have in our toolbox. We talk about what are, the 5 people that are around you. What are the things that you're feeding in your feed with your Facebook and Instagram and TikTok? What are the things that you're bringing in energy wise?
Yeah.
So look up Don Miguel Ruiz, and his quotes will start coming up on your Instagram. And all of a sudden you start reading this and you start figuring out like, oh, that connects with me. That triggers. I know what that feels. I want to feel that way. And these are things that you're going to put in your toolbox so that you can continue to be your authentic self and keep bringing light to the world, because we're all one. And when we're not happy and we're so worried about put the mask on yourself first, right, Susan?
Yeah. Yeah. The airplane drops, it's self-care first in order to be able to help and care and hold space for others. So
Self-care is not selfish.
nope.
Self-care is so important, because when we then are happy with where we are, then we can be present in that moment. So
Cool. All good.
all good, guys. We're good. We're all great. We have a next podcast is going to be with Natasha. Already happened, is where I'm trying to remember which order we're in our recordings, but please follow us. Tell us, what else do you want us to talk about? We are here for you. This is a podcast that we want to share and bring other artists and other individuals that have tools in their box that they are willing to share. So please, if there's anyone, or if you want to join our talk show, please let us know. It's open for everyone. We have holding space, right?
Yep. Have a great 9th birthday.
Calvin, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy Calvin. All righty. Until next time.